Hello, fellow baseball fans. We're back. I am Jose Tabuada. This is Norb Cabrera. And yes, we are back to talking baseball here with Breaking Balls on Fair or Foul. How have you been, Norb?
Pretty good, and I'm excited for the second half of the year. And there's just going to be a whole lot of drama, a whole lot of
Oh, yeah.
offense, and a whole lot of hoopla all around the league. So we're very excited about that for sure.
Oh, yes, indeed. Yes, welcome to the second half of the Major League Baseball season. It's been an entertaining season to say the least. Even right before the All Star break, if there was a lot of drama, from no hitters to sticky stuff and the mysterious wonders of Shohei Ohtani. But here we are now as we get ready for the second half of Major League Baseball. Let's give you an update on where we stand in Major League Baseball today. If you're listening to this randomly in 2022 and you're wondering, hey, what part of the baseball season are we on? Well, we just had the All-Star break, but here's who are leading the divisions after at the time of recording. The Red Sox in the lead ahead of Tampa Bay, a game and a half. The White Sox have a good stronghold on the Central, 8.5 games over Cleveland in second place. In the AL West, a bit of a tighter battle. The Astros 3 games up on the Athletics, but of course, the AL East continues to be a massive talking point. We're going to talk about the AL East in this episode. Over to the National League, 2.5 Philadelphia, 2.5 games behind the leading Mets. That's become an interesting story as well. In the Central, the Brewers again have a similar stronghold like the White Sox, 7 games above the Cincinnati Reds. And in the National League West, boy, it's today's right now. It's a crucial series for the Giants who take on the second place Dodgers, who are only 2.5 games behind them in the division. The Giants continuing to surprise the hell out of everybody in that race in the West. But before we get to our second half, today we're talking about our second half predictions and where we think the divisions are going to go. But before we do, we need to talk about that small little game that happened, I believe, in Colorado a few weeks ago called the All-Star Game. I think that's important to talk to because it's the All-Star Game. It's where MLB's best of the best come together for a day to play some good old exhibition baseball, or in this year's case, wear some of the ugliest uniforms you will ever see and wonder what the hell is wrong with MLB. Oh my lord! But before we get to you, Norb, I'm a big jersey guy. I'm a huge jersey guy. I love collecting jerseys. Like I just recently binge bought some Leafs jerseys. I have some old Jays jerseys. I don't know if you saw, Norb, on my social the other day, my Halladay jersey that I got in the mail.
Yes,
Oh my
yes,
god,
indeed.
gorgeous! God bless Roy
Yeah,
Halladay, former
what
Toronto
a
Blue Jay
beauty.
legend.
Yeah,
That was expensive to get done, by the way. Um, and those jerseys, oh, in color, what the hell are those? First of all, the tradition of not having the teams wear their traditional home or away uniforms, pathetic. That made me sad. It should like that was an 80+ year tradition gone, which happens. Um, but the jerseys are just terrible. It's not even a full button down. The name, like the city abbreviation on the
on
left
the
on the left chest, left
mhm.
breast, awful. Even like the Jays one with the U.S. flag just looks horrendous. Anyways, I hated the jerseys. I need to get that across. I hated the jerseys, and I hate that the MVP of the damn game, Toronto Blue Jays, and my current personal favorite, Vladimir Guerrero Jr., won MVP, which means that is a jersey worth getting, and I'm pissed because I don't want to buy it, but because it was a significant event for Vladdy and the Blue Jays, that is grounds to get it because that is our, I think that's the Blue Jays' first MVP in God knows how long. It's been a while.
Yeah,
But Vladdy killed it. And that's where I can transition to the game itself. Vladdy absolutely good. That home run. Oh Lord. Colorado is there's a reason why Colorado is called a home run distant park. I don't even know if you want to call it a hitter's park, but home run distance, because when you hit that ball, whoa, what the hell was that? When you hit that ball, it flies. It flies.
definitely.
Yep.
Yeah.
Norb, let's go to your thoughts on the 2021 All-Star game.
I mean, I love Colorado. Their ballpark is so nice, and the altitude. It's got to be the altitude that's making those balls fly out in the air. And Vladdy Guerrero, he was exceptional in that game, winning the MVP honors and just hitting that home run, and also creating some offense. I mean, the Blue Jays, Teoscar Hernandez and Marcus Semien also contributed to the offense. It was, I think, to me, it was an entertaining All Star game. I mean, it was cut and dry. There were some quiet moments, and there were some pretty good moments. I mean, Corbin Burns, one of the noisiest moments of the of the game in the second inning, loading up the bases. But all in all, I think it was the kind of all-star game that we like to see, with some action, with some base runners, and with some good fielding, and with some home runs. And JT Realmuto also contributed to the offense for the National League, even though they lost 5-2. But it's one of those All-Star games that had a lot of action. There were some quiet moments, but it's something that we expect to see. It wasn't really like an over the top slam dunk competition like the NBA All Star games.
Nor should it either. I mean, like they're still competing, right? And I mean, mind you, in baseball, even as a pitcher, right? Like you still want to show up some defense, right? They're all stars, right? I mean,
yes,
in an NBA All Star game, everybody forgets about defense until like what, the fourth, and then you're like, oh right, we're all stars. Let's show why we're like why like we're all stars from the defensive side. It's like, at least in baseball you play all throughout. So props to them. Go on.
Well, the NBA All Star game, a lot of fans expect to see a slam dunk every like 2 or 3 shots in a game, but that's not exactly what baseball is. Like you don't expect a home run for every batter or whatnot in every inning. But it was all in all exciting. With the plans to host the All-Star game for Colorado, did an exceptional job, even though that it was changed from the venues from Atlanta to Colorado. But the planning was exceptional. The ballpark was great. And the altitude was fantastic. It's always been there in the Mile High City. And as for the jerseys, I can agree with you as well, my friend. It seems like Major League Baseball has gone back to the 1900s with those logo on the side jerseys rather than across the shirt. But Vladimir Guerrero. If you want to get his jersey right now, it's coming in hot. I mean, just hit the MLB shop before it goes to clearance. So,
I mean, sure. I have a Vladdy jersey. Like I found the Vladdy jersey on Sport Check for $40, and I think it was an error on Sport Check's part, because when I went to go send a link to some of the friends, it was gone. Like they it looked like they didn't mean to put it up, because that jersey originally is like what, 170, 180, and I got it for 40.
They're ridiculously expensive.
Yeah, and this is not even Nike. It was Majestic. It was a Majestic Vladdy jersey, like the old manufacturer before they switched to Nike. Yep. So again, like I'm convinced that they messed up in putting that up, and then they realized, oh crap, we actually have to send this guy a medium white Vladimir Guerrero jersey to him. Damn it. So I don't know what happened, but yeah,
you got to steal there, my friend. You got to steal.
I did. But yes, I mean, the All-Star game was great. That was the American League's 8th straight win over the National League. So, I mean, obviously, being a fan of a team in the AL, of course I say hail the AL, screw the NL, but sometimes the World Series doesn't reflect that. And I also think we do got to bring up, I don't think we can talk about an All-Star game without bringing up the home run derby. Pete Alonso continuing to be a monster, technically back-to-back, because there was no All-Star game in 2020, obviously, because there was something called COVID. The pandemic happened. Pete Alonso continued to dominate. The guy can crush it in Colorado, where everything's just amplified. You're like, yeesh. Huge, really, really big. And I of course I do want to give props to Ohtani. We have to give props to Ohtani. I mean, like a home run derby, batting leadoff, starting on the mound in the All-Star game. It's I don't know if we'll ever see that again. Maybe okay, I should rephrase, because Ohtani could become an All-Star next year and have the same thing happen, because Ohtani can do it all. But Ohtani aside, I think it's going to be a long, long time since we see a player like that again. Maybe similar to, maybe close to 100 years as well, just like Babe Ruth. But it's so great to see. I know it wasn't a strong derby performance. I think he was knocked out the first round, right? But I mean, he went to like the swing offs, like they kind of went to double overtime. But I mean, like at the end of the day, it's just, you have to appreciate what Ohtani is doing for the game, what he's doing for the fans in LA, and what he's doing just to really represent the sport that we all love. It's amazing to see. And of course, when you take out Stephen A's stupid comments about the translator on the side, Ohtani's really, really special. But yes, the derby was a lot of fun. And of course, again, Pete Alonso, an absolute monster. Oh my goodness gracious! I didn't even know why like other people went up against him. I'm like, really, guys? Can you just cruise him along to the final? Like, why are you guys like hoping for the best? Trey Mancini was great too. I believe he was in the final against Pete Alonso. Cancer survivor, stage 3 cancer survivor, and yet he's out there in a home run derby, making the final of a derby. That also is another great story. I mean, Otani aside for what he's done for the game of baseball, for what Mancini does for people that are sick, or for people that love the game, or for people that just need that motivation or inspiration, you can't find anybody better right now than Trey Mancini with what he's been, with the battle that he's been through. It was just so great to see, so special. I'm like, wow. And even like at that moment where like during the All-Star game, he had like the sign "Stand Up to Cancer." And
Yep.
he had, and even some of the players, like I think Vlad and some other players wrote Trey Mancini, and I'm like, that's just great. I mean, division rivals are division rivals, but humans first. And you saw that throughout All-Star week. But the Derby was fun. I think all around, just a really, really fun time. And you're right. I think given the circumstances with the location of the All-Star game after what happened in Atlanta with the voting rights and all that stuff, or like that issue, and Colorado to host it on last minute, great. The only thing that the logo was great. If they managed to plan it all, the only thing they forgot to figure out was the damn jerseys. So sue me. Let's move on. Let's move on to the second half, shall we? Let's move on to the second half of the 2021 MLB season. I listed the division winners earlier at the start of the pod. What do you? Let's start with you, Nord. What do you think can happen as this season progresses? Like, because I mean, we're like, yes, we're at the halfway point, and we blink, and the next thing you know, we're days away from October baseball, from postseason baseball. So what do you think can happen? Just in general, what's on your mind with the second half?
Well, I'm just going to briefly explain what my take is for the American League and the National League. The AL East is, I think it's still going to be a 4-team horse race. But it all depends on what the Yankees and the Blue Jays will do in the trade deadline, because that will basically determine where they're going to be at, in the final months of the year. But I think it's going to be a dogfight right up until the end. I think one of them is going to win the wild card. I mean, the Red Sox and the Rays are pretty much close to each other. They're trying to beat each other to the bloody pulp. The Yankees and the Blue Jays are not too far away from where those two teams at. But the Yankees have been like really struggling. Well, minus what was happened in the last few days. But the Yankees, a very anemic offense, if you will. The complete opposite for the Jays. I mean, their offense has been killing it, but their pitching hasn't been 100%, with the exception of Hyun-Jin Ryu and Robbie Ray in that mix. But I do think that those four teams will continue to battle right up until the end of the season. AL Central is a walk in the park for me. I think the White Sox will run away with that division. Cleveland will come second, and as much as I want the Tigers to come into that mix, they were given a big blow because their ace Spencer Turnbull, the guy that pitched the no-hitter not too long ago,
Yeah.
in the first half of the year, is going through Tommy John surgery, so a huge blow for the Tigers there. I mean, they've been really hopeful of turning things around, but I don't think that's gonna happen now because they've lost their bull into their pitching rotation. The AL West, a dogfight between the Astros and the A's for me. I do think that their pitching and their offense is still very exciting to watch. Say what you want about the Astros, but they're banging home runs, people, not trash cans. So, yeah, expect the unexpected from the Astros. The A's, even though that they're in the middle of the pack of in the league for hitting, but I think they're going to get it done as they fight their way into a division title versus the Astros. The NL East, it's pretty interesting how I viewed the NL East. I mean, I thought the Mets and the Phillies were the only ones competing for a division title, but now the Atlanta Braves and the Washington Nationals are not too far behind now in that division. So they're in the rearview mirror of the Mets and Phillies. So I think that's going to be a 4-team horse race coming to the end. NL Central, very much like the AL. Milwaukee is probably going to win the division, run away with it. Cincinnati, the Cubs, and the Cardinals may not even come close. Cincinnati's got really good hitting, but their pitching is a little shaky at times. And as you mentioned with the NL West, Giants, Padres, and the Dodgers will continue to battle till the end of the year with their stunning offense and their pitching. I mean, the Giants are just incredible this year. So unbelievable, predictions, and I hope that they happen, and hope we'll get the last 2 months of the year a lot more entertaining than what we saw in the first few months of the year. So for
Yeah,
sure.
and I look at the division. I mean, I'm very similar thoughts with you. I mean, for example, the AL Central, the run differential for the White Sox plus 125. That is a lot. And you know what? I was looking at the when it comes to the NL West, for example, another division I want to take a look at myself. I look at the Giants' schedule, and honestly, I think they can hold on to the lead. They're going up against some teams that are not been ideal. Some few challenges along the way, like the Diamondbacks. Sorry, Norb, they should be easy to take care of.
Can they
The
be relegated to the B League now? Come on,
Yeah,
guys.
send them to the minors. I'm sure Buffalo wants. I'm sure Buffalo wants another team. I mean, and the Pirates. Again, the Pirates. The Dodgers will be a bit of competition. The Astros will be competition for the Giants. But the Diamondbacks, a 4-game series with them. The Brewers, the Rockies, the Athletics. You know what? Maybe I want to take this back. Maybe not. And the Padres. You know what? I kind of want to take that back. You know what I'm going to say instead, because I'm not going to go. I'm not going to edit this out. I'm going to just own this. Looking at the schedule, you look at the teams. I kind of do think I think the Giants hold on, but not by a lot. I think they can fight, but I don't know for how long. And obviously the 2-game background is my dog is going berserk in the back, and I'm sorry if you can hear that. Welcome.
Your dog might be a Dodgers fan.
Maybe. Welcome to living at home, folks. So we'll see what happens there. And then the AL East. I mean, obviously that's a division that I focus in the most because of the Blue Jays. Everybody knows I'm a Jays fan, and yes, even though the Blue Jays lead the division in run differential with a plus 86, of course, the for fun and for giggles, the Orioles have minus 131. I don't trust Toronto. My outlook would change in 2 weeks, and I'm sure the next episode we're going to do is a trade deadline breakdown about what we thought of the trades are going to happen, because the deadline from the time of this recording, today is the 20th, we are 11 days away from the time of this recording from the MLB from the trade deadline. And of course, you have stories about, for example, Toronto needing that offense, the Yankees needing to get some offense as well because they've been losing players like crazy. And then you have teams like the Cubs, who apparently are ready to implode. A lot of people are kind of honing in on the Cubs and be like, hey, man, I kind of like what you guys got over there. Like, you guys have a closer that we could use. And there's a third baseman that's kind of interesting. And then you have stories like the Giants who are looking after Marte from the Marlins to bolster their offense. So we're going to talk about that in a few weeks. But anyways, back to my main point. With the Blue Jays, assuming that the pattern that the management has done in recent years and not do like that big trade, I think the Jays fall short, even of a wild card spot, because this team has it. You don't have Simeon. Most likely you're not going to have Simeon after this. And this offense, no matter where you look, is so potent. And you're like, I think it has the potential to overtake the Red Sox and the Rays. But again, I think they need another starter. I think they're going to look for that at the trade deadline. And I think obviously maybe a final bullpen piece or a proper closer would help out the team as well. But at least when it comes to the Blue Jays, my prediction is they come up short. I hate to say that. I don't like crying, and I'm probably going to cry again. But I think they come up short. And I do think that the Rays eventually will bounce back and take that from Boston. I think the Rays claim the AL East, and then Boston gets into the wild card spot. But I think the Rays do sneak one out, which sucks because I hate them. But they're probably going to sneak one out. But those are like my break predictions, and then of course obviously who gets traded. It's so hard to predict because to think about with me when it comes to predicting trade deadlines, even if you can look at the rumors, all of a sudden you have this random name that comes out of nowhere, and you go, oh, okay, that wasn't on my radar. Like, for example, like today, right? I mean, like, Ross Ripling's comments about playing on the Blue Jays, playing in different cities and now being away from his family. People are assuming that he's going to get traded. I'm like, okay. I mean, I know the performance hasn't been there, but I don't know if he'll get traded. I don't think so, because the Jays need that starting depth. But again, I don't know. So, my point is, I think those are my two big predictions. Do we see another no-hitter? Do we see more? I think maybe one more. I think one. I'm going to say that one more happens by the end of the year. We did get one post sticky stuff, which is weird to say. We did get one. But I think we're going to get one more. And I agree for the most part. I do agree with your statements about the division winners. Like, I think the White Sox are easily going to take that one. I do think that the Astros stay at top. I don't see the Phillies jumping up, and with Atlanta losing, the star player in Ronald Acuna, I don't see them making that jump either. I do see the Mets just kind of like sticking with it. The Brewers, they're the freaking Brewers. They've been having fun too, and then the Giants, I do think they hang on, but not by much. That's what I'm leading towards for the second half. I feel like we can make better predictions once the deadline happens. Norm, I think that's 100% our next episode. As soon as the deadline's over, record like a few days after and just break down what we think can happen, or what we think is going to happen from there on out, and what we think. Who are the winners? Who are the losers? Trade deadline is going to be very interesting. Especially now that I guess now that the Blue Jays can trade again, or can go back, or going back home, that can be a different ball game. you got your normality back, and players maybe are like, okay, I get it. Sure, I don't want to be stuck in Buffalo. They're going to Toronto, so who knows?
Yeah, I mean, there's going to be no more rainouts for sure in Buffalo as they head home. Yeah, you're definitely right. The trade deadline can mean a lot of things for different teams, and we just have to see who wins and loses, who makes the better deal, and who has the advantage going forward in August and September. And you're definitely right. I mean, teams like Atlanta, they're hoping to get some pop out of Jock Peterson's bat as he was acquired to replace Ronald Acuna, who was badly injured in that unfortunate game for him. He's out for the year. So like Atlanta is certain teams like Atlanta is whoever they have acquired. Hopefully they'll find some pop in the bat and some take some advantage in some of the games that's coming up, especially facing the Mets and the Phillies near the end of the year.
And on that note, I think we're gonna wrap it up here I think we're gonna wrap up today's episode. Like I said, stay tuned, because I'm sure we're gonna have a lot on our mind when trade deadline comes and goes. So for Norv Cabrera, I'm Jose Taboada. We will see you guys in a few weeks. Take care. Have a great one.